I never thought a simple Friday night could completely unravel my life. I was sitting at our usual cafe with my friends, venting about everything I'd been holding in for months. The kind of words you only say when you think nobody important is listening. I told them about my husband, Jason, how he never noticed the little things I did, how he didn't appreciate me, how sometimes I felt trapped in a life I no longer recognized. The words spilled faster than I could filter them, each one sharper than the last. I hate that he doesn't even notice me anymore, I said. Sometimes I wish he'd just disappear, just for a day. My friends laughed nervously, thinking I was exaggerating, but I wasn't. I meant every word. And then my phone buzzed. I had left it on the table, and in my flustered state, my hand knocked it just enough to hit answer. Suddenly, his voice filled the air. "Hello." I froze. My heart dropped straight into my stomach. My words, the ones I thought were private, were no longer mine alone. Jason had heard every complaint, every bitter remark, every resentment I had buried. My face turned red-hot. I could hear the soft gasp from one of my friends. The cafe noise seemed to vanish, leaving only the sound of my pounding heartbeat and the steady calm of my husband on the other end. I wanted to hang up. I wanted to vanish. But he didn't hang up. "Is that how you really feel?" he asked. His voice was quiet, almost gentle, but each syllable cut through me like a knife. I stammered, tried to explain, to soften the impact of what he'd just heard, but my words sounded pathetic, weak, and empty. I could see my friend's eyes on me, wide, uncomfortable, silently judging. I wanted the ground to swallow me whole. Jason stayed calm. Not a word of anger. No shouting. Just quiet understanding mixed with a hint of pain. He said, "We need to talk. Tonight." I nodded, too embarrassed to argue. That night, I went home earlier than planned, my stomach twisting in knots. Jason was already there, sitting on the couch, waiting. He didn't yell. He didn't slam doors. He just watched me, quietly letting me feel the weight of every word I had said aloud. I tried to apologize, tried to explain that I didn't mean everything literally, that I was just venting. But he shook his head. "You've been holding in a lot," he said softly. "And I've been holding in a lot too. But hearing what you really think, it's a wake-up call." I braced myself for a storm. I expected yelling, accusations, maybe even the end of our marriage. But he didn't seek revenge. Instead, he proposed a plan, a way to fix what we had ignored for too long. Therapy. Honest conversations. Respectful boundaries. No more pretending everything was fine. Over the next few weeks, everything was raw. Every argument felt magnified, every mistake felt like a personal attack. But slowly, something began to shift. I realized that my frustration wasn't only about him, it was also about me. About the parts of myself I had neglected. About the way I stopped caring for my own happiness because I thought marriage meant giving everything and asking nothing. We started talking again, really talking. We started noticing the little things, the coffee he made just right, the way he laughed at the dumb jokes I told, the way he remembered the little details I thought he ignored. And every time I remembered that accidental phone call, I shivered. That one tiny mistake had forced the conversation we both needed but were too scared to start. One evening, as we sat together on the couch, he looked at me and said, "You know, if that call hadn't happened, we might still be ignoring each other. Maybe we'd be on autopilot forever." I nodded, gripping his hand. I never thought a mistake could save us. Jason smiled, softly. Sometimes, mistakes are terrifying, embarrassing, but they're also opportunities. And he was right. That accidental answered call, which I thought would destroy everything, became the turning point. It forced honesty. It forced confrontation. It forced change. And in the chaos, I realized something important. A relationship can survive betrayal, frustration, and misunderstanding, if both people are willing to finally face the truth. The night I accidentally answered his call was terrifying, humiliating, and shocking. But it ended up being the best thing that could have happened to our marriage. Sometimes, life gives you a mistake so big that it changes everything, for the better. And that night, I finally understood how fragile, messy, and beautiful honesty can be.